Clutch Trucker filmed before a live studio audience. That is Rusty, the world-famous meatball dog. Hey YouTube, Clutch Trucker here. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of the Clutch Trucker channel. Alright, I've been wrestling with this thing all day. This main post that's over there, you can't see. How to connect it to the floor. I found there is a bolt in the ceiling I could use where a cabinet support used to be. And I know that support's got to be fairly rigid because that cabinet, that was the passenger side cabinet up towards the top, had a big handle. So you could grab onto that to help hoist yourself up to the upper mattress with the way the upper bunk was originally configured. So I know it's got to be fairly strong, that and then the wall to hold that. So my main point is if I can use that top threaded support that's already there to connect the beam in to the ceiling, and then use the threaded support that's already there in the floor to connect it to the floor somehow. Problem is there's the cross beam where they used to hold up the front side of my old bunk, or my original bunk, in that plastic tray. So I've got to notch in for that. And I want to notch in for this upper beam right up there behind me, so the new beam will be going around that, so I can like basically triple secure that in with bolts, lag bolts, and everything else. I've got a real basic sketch. It just looks like a bad road, doesn't it? This is going to be the bottom part that has to hop over this little wall behind me. And then this is going to be notched out for the beam that you saw up there behind my head. And then I need to attach it somehow to the ceiling and down here to the floor. Here's the beam I'm going to use. It's another 2x6. I could get away with just a 2x4 probably, but since I'm going to notch it, I wanted the extra weight of the 2x6. And as you've been watching my project so far, I tend to overbuild anyway. So there is a little threaded hole down there in the floor. There's another threaded hole up there where a cabinet used to attach in the ceiling on the passenger side. So I'm trying to figure out now the best way to do this. I'm going to put down, I think, a board down there below this so I can put an angle bracket in. And it looks like that might even line up with the threaded hole in the floor and the ceiling if I use this little angle bracket I found tonight at Menards. Now I'm just trying to figure out, I got to account for the board that's going to be on the floor, so the height for that. Then the height from that board in there all the way up to the ceiling, where it's going to notch in here and where it's going to notch in here. So I'm trying to put that all together right now. Okay, here's a little update on my sketch. I've just determined I need to go in 2.5 inches on this board, on this 2x6. And it's going to go down 13 inches minus the board depth of the board that's out there sitting on the table saw. That board is going to go down there on the floor in what is going to be the step area on that side. So I have to subtract that board depth from my sketch here, where I know it's 13 inches to the floor, but I'm going to add the depth of that board, which I believe that is a 3/4 inch at least, if not more. And we're going to notch in 2.5 inches. Then once we get further up to where the upper beam, right up there, is, we're going to notch in for that. And I know for a fact that that board is 11 1/4 inches tall. And we're going to go in 1.5 inches so everything will be flush. What I don't know is the exact placement of this line or this line. And I won't really know that until I get this board mounted on the bottom board and up and measure that. I need to pull the upper bunk down right up there just a little bit because it doesn't have any support there at the front right now. So the back deck is wanting to pull it down just a hair. I want it to be level. So it needs to come down just a little bit. I have to wait until I get that board up there and then put a little pressure on the upper deck and then draw my line, and then we'll go from there. Attaching to the roof, I believe these brackets I found are going to work. So, you know, yeah, I spent an hour at Menards tonight looking at different brackets. I'm going to be putting some sheet metal screws down into this little, oh, let me show you. Yeah, that beam right there, you can see where the board is just kind of leaning right now. That's all metal, so I'm going to put a couple of brackets on that on either side of the board and secure it there. We're going to do that bracket you can see lying there on the floor, over there through the board that's going to be on the floor, into that threaded hole right there. And then, like I showed you before, we've got the threaded hole up on the ceiling, which you can't see now. All right, it's already 10:48 p.m. right now. I got to think about this some more, because this is what I do. I've had the whole project visualized in my head for weeks before I got home, for how it's basically going to go. But I knew as I'm building it, there's going to be adjustments, there's going to be things that are come up, and then it's going to be readjustment, and how exactly is that going to be put together. So this is what I do late at night. I sit here and I make my sketches, and my notebook is just filled with sketches of these things, and replan, and it's, late enough. I don't want to run the table saw and everything tonight and make a lot of noise. So at this point, I'm going to finish thinking this out. I think I'm going to think, and get it all ready for tomorrow. So there's really nothing else to show you tonight. This beam is very, very, very important. This is the last main support structure for this upper deck system. And that beam will also be supporting the landing area that's going to be put in there. It's going to be bolted to the back wall for that. And it's going to be that board that's going to go down in the bottom where I showed you. That's going to be the main bottom support for the whole step structure. So I want to make sure I have it all correct and in my head right. So I'm going to take another hour or two here and think and measure some more. I always joke with my wife as I'm doing this project, what I do late at night is I sit here and I kind of think and I look at things, and I look back, and then I grab my tape measure, I go measure something, and I come back and I sit, I sketch some more, and I go back and I measure some more. But this is the way I need to do it right, so I don't have to rebuild anything. That's the whole point. So sorry, not a lot to show you tonight. But this pole, I want to make sure I get it in right, and that it supports everything the way it's supposed to, and that there's not going to be vibration, because these trucks bounce around a lot. So this is, I'm having to consider all of these things. So there's kind of where we're at tonight. Well, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Clutch Trucker remodel project here. What is this, 22? It's going to be done someday, maybe by Christmas. Let's hope a lot sooner than that. The building portion is going to start picking up, so just hang in there with me on that, all right, as we keep doing this. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe. Please like and comment if you'd like to. I get to your comments usually within 24 hours while I'm doing this project. Let's see, don't forget about Clutch Trucker on Instagram, Clutch Trucker on Twitter. And as always, sniff that magic YouTube fairy dust. Clutch and Rusty, out. I've seen The Exorcist about 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it. All right, he's eyeing the strip. He sees it. Come on, almost had it. Almost. One more big leap. There you go. All righty. And one of these days, this truck will be back the way it's supposed to be. Oh, we got a happy dog look already. How about that? So, right now, there's just tools and dust and sawdust and stuff lying all over, but Rusty still gets his bacon strip, so he don't care. Right there, Rusty? Yeah.